Hey everybody, Payments Professor here, continuing to get information and assistance out to all on how we can work together in the payments industry during the coronavirus pandemic. Questions are already coming up as to what to do, and we are here to help. This video is going to focus on what to do if we have a disputed return or a disputed entry and our customer won't come in. No time for an intro video, let's just get right into it. A disputed return entry is one that requires a WSUD, a written statement of unauthorized debit. When are we going to need that? We're going to need that in situations like an RO5. That's an ACH return reason code of RO5. Its definition is an unauthorized debit to consumer account using corporate SEC code. It's only for consumers and it's used when a consumer has a CCD or CTX debit to their account. There's a 60-day return window, but a WSUD, a written statement of unauthorized debit, is required. I don't expect to see a change in the number of these that are happening due to the coronavirus, but anything's possible. Next, we have RO7, authorization revoked by customer. This is when the receiver who previously authorized an entry has revoked authorization with the originator for the debit entry. And RO7 is when someone has an authorization in place, like say for a gym membership, but now they revoked it. And the debit goes through anyway after they revoked it. This one does require a WSUD, and honestly, I got a feeling we're going to see a lot of these. As the economic impact is felt, there's a chance that many memberships, not just gyms, but other things, in subscription-based memberships too, may be revoked, but still processed through, not entirely on purpose, but accidentally. I want to note too, if you're a consumer watching this, talk to the business and organizations that you have these memberships with. See if it is possible to have these waived or reduced or even halted for a time period before you just cancel. We faced hard times before, and this too will pass. Many businesses are already willing to work with you. I've seen them be proactive with me. You be proactive with them too. Back to the financial institutions. If an account holder does call in and says that this is to be disputed, then you must follow your policies and procedures. But we will get to that. First, let's finish off the list of return reason codes requiring a WSUD. Another one is going to be the return reason code of R10. Customer advises unauthorized, improper, or ineligible, or part of an incomplete transaction. Note, this one's changing as of April 1st, very soon, and I will commit to all of you to have another video like the one we did earlier this year explaining the new rule, but now how it relates to what we're seeing happen in processing due to the corona pandemic. Even if it's just next week, stay tuned, I'll have that for you. R10 has been the catch-all be-all return reason code for a long time, and the new rule is going to help with that. But for now, the end of March 2020, it is intended for when something is to a consumer account and truly unauthorized. In other words, they didn't authorize it, they don't know who it is that is debiting their account. Now the incomplete transaction part, it's possible in these trying times as an incomplete transaction or entry is when the account holder is debited on their side by some type of middleman or third party, and that middleman or third party doesn't complete the payment on the other side to the intended party that is to be credited from the debit to the consumer's account. It could happen. Again, a WSUD is required. There are a couple others that we have. We have the R51 and we have the R53. R51. The item related to an RCK entry is ineligible or RCK entry is improper. And R53, item and RCK entry presented for payment. Truth is, we don't see many of these. They are out there, but it is the RO5, RO7, and R10 I expect we'll see the most during the next few weeks. So what do we do? Whenever possible, you should always follow your policies and procedures, and I do mean that. And yes, that means you have to have a WSUD completed by your account holder. Does the WSUD have to be signed? Yes! But does it have to be signed at your location? Not necessarily. But it depends on what your procedures say. If they say that it does, then it does. So now is a great time to fix those procedures because it is possible to make the WSUD available online, electronically, and have a printed, signed, and returned to you. And you're still in compliance. No leaving of self-quarantine. No additional exposure of any kind, assuming that your account holder has printing capabilities and can mail the WSUD back with limited interaction. Or better yet, have them resubmit it back electronically. Yes, electronically. Yes, you can do that. Again, if your policies and procedures allow. So get to updating those policies and procedures, folks. But what must be on that WSUD? Again, a WSUD is a written statement of unauthorized debit, and it must be signed or similarly authenticated by the receiver, submitted within the timeframes provided by the rules, and otherwise conform to the requirements of Section 3.12. The written statement must include minimum information for each entry for which recredit is requested by the receiver. What are we going to see on there? All right, we want the receiver's printed name and we want their signature or similarly authenticated. The receiver's account number. The identity of the party, that would be the payee that is debiting the account, as provided to the receiver, and if it's a different name, the name of the intended third-party payee. The date the entry was posted to the account. The dollar amount of the entry. We need to have that return reason as well. So what is that reason for the return? We need to have a signature date. The receiver's assertion that the written statement of unauthorized debit is true and correct is also required. And the receiver's assertion that the receiver is an authorized signer or has corporate authority to act on the account. The written statement of unauthorized debit must be dated on or after the statement date of the entry or entries for which recredit is requested. It is possible that more than one unauthorized debit entry from one single originator may be documented on a single written statement of unauthorized debit, provided that all the information detailed before is provided for each debit entry for which the receiver is seeking recredit. The rules do not say anything about it having to be a wet signature or the original. In fact, they say if requested to produce a copy, you can in fact do that, produce a copy. So if you have a return request for a return that requires a WSUD, do know there are options that make it possible. So your account holders don't even have to leave the house and you can take care of them. Now, if you have any other questions, if you're looking for additional assistance on things that can be done in electronic payments, in banking in general during this pandemic, then please make sure to let me know. Kevin@paymentsprofessor.com. We are here to help and to serve you.